we know that Judge Napolitano is a personal favorite of the president. The president describes him as the one judge who makes federal law understandable and the Constitution understandable. The argument against him in the previous round was that he was a state judge. By the way, Felix Frankfurter was a state judge. That is really of no consequence. The president did feel in the first round that he had to go with a list that had been recommended by the Federalist Society. Napolitano was not on that list, although he certainly could have been based on qualifications. Having now fulfilled that commitment, I don't believe the president, or I don't know, but I'm not sure the president will feel that he must select from that list again, particularly as long as his nominee is a solid conservative. I think Napolitano is very, very much in the hunt. I think he was the president's emotional choice for the previous nomination, and it would be a great statement because the judge is a great conservative, but he's also a great libertarian, very much pro-freedom.
It is phenomenal how much Trump has been delivering on his promises and how the world is turning around. But the globalists are hell-bent on stopping the American and global recovery. They admit, from Juncker at the EU to Bill Maher on HBO, that they want to crash the U.S. economy to teach Trump supporters a lesson. Talk about Hitlerian. This is unbelievable, the period of history we're in. Well, I remember back when the president got in, and then there was a Supreme Court vacancy. I remember that it was in the news some that Andrew Napolitano was in the running. But then later I learned from inside sources, not just Roger Stone, that Trump used a big computer program and worked with some big study groups to look at who had the most conservative federal voting record, because he'd promised to go with the most conservative judge. And some of his experts argued, well, that's not Napolitano because he was a state judge. Yes, he's very conservative on air. Yes, he's a very smart guy. But we're talking about federal judges up front right now. Wouldn't it be best to go with a federal judge first? And that he said, okay, I'll do that. So I can technically say I've appointed the most conservative person on the bench currently who has a bigger, longer record. But my good friend, Andrew Napolitano, he is going to be at the front of the running on the next round. In fact, it was more specific than that. I asked Roger at the time if that was accurate. He's very close friends with Napolitano. He said they're best friends. And he told me some stuff. Now, the day before I went on air, even though I thought Roger was on a plane, he was just getting on one, I called Roger to see if I could say what I was told from the other sources, even though they didn't tell me this in confidence. In fact, I talked to another individual that talked to Napolitano, and I'm going to leave it at that. And he said, yes, indeed, I was told that. But then there's the different angles of, we don't want to box the president in, saying that Napolitano is who he said will be his next nominee, but that's what he was told. Now, does that mean he's in the pole position in first place? Because if you start off in first place, there's kind of this metaphysical thing where it's easy to fall back if you're seen as starting in first place. So let's just say he is at the very front of the pack here, and I think the very best person for a lot of reasons. His cell phone's about to die. He's going to get home and join us via Skype in about an hour. But Roger Stone, flesh this out for folks as best we can. We're giving people a world exclusive here. A lot of this is inside baseball. I was not told this in confidence, but I still called you and brought up my sources, and because you had told me similar things and said, do you think we should roll this out?
You know, Alex, everything you just said is absolutely accurate. We know that Judge Napolitano is a personal favorite of the president. The president describes him as the one judge who makes federal law understandable and the Constitution understandable. The argument against him in the previous round was that he was a state judge. By the way, Felix Frankfurter was a state judge. That is really of no consequence. The president did feel in the first round that he had to go with a list that had been recommended by the Federalist Society. Napolitano was not on that list, although he certainly could have been based on qualifications. Having now fulfilled that commitment, I don't believe the president, or I don't know, but I'm not sure the president will feel that he must select from that list again, particularly as long as his nominee is a solid conservative. I think Napolitano is very, very much in the hunt. I think he was the president's emotional choice for the previous nomination, and it would be a great statement because the judge is a great conservative, but he's also a great libertarian, very much pro-freedom. So I'm optimistic. I think that the left will deride him as a Fox talking head, but he is, by any measure, brilliant, and I know he has the high regard of the president.
I don't want to get into too much of the inside details, but just specifically, he's at the top of the list this round. Judge Andrew Napolitano is currently at the top of the list. How do we make sure he stays at the top and gets in there despite the leftist globalist bullying? You know, anybody that's really good, that's who they're going to fight, just like they fought Trump getting into office.
Well, if you're a believer, as I am, that Andrew Napolitano would be a great Supreme Court justice, you should reach out for the president. You can call the White House switchboard where they're set up to take messages from the American people, 202-456-1414, 202-456-1414. Flooding the White House switchboard with supportive calls would be very helpful. Keep it short, keep it respectful, keep it real. We're not talking about manufacturing calls. We're talking about individual info warriors calling in to let the president know how they feel.
That's right. I'm getting a jump on the leftist globalist media who is going to immediately go and dig back into the news and remember when we actually already said all this on air. So that's why I'm not giving out any secret information that he is the front runner. Basically, oh, yeah, everything vets out. You're it next round. And I can see how the first time go with the whole computer-generated, most conservative federal judge voting record. But he also has a very conservative record at the state level. And as you said, there have been many top Supreme Court justices, you name it, that were state judges.
Yeah, that's no disqualification, to say the least. So it would make a strong statement, particularly in view of the president's recent position that he will support federal legislation to support state legalized medical marijuana, a position that Judge Napolitano also supports. He is not a Bush conservative, although that's kind of an oxymoron.
Wouldn't you call him a nationalist, libertarian, pro-Americana populist?
More libertarian than that, but on law and order issues, certainly he's a hardliner. But he's also a supporter of civil liberties, a supporter of civil rights.
So he's really a constitutionalist.
Without any question. And he's a friend of this show. He is just a solid guy. Be the best possible nominee for the president.
Well, Trump also knows that it was Napolitano, and you and I and others, that first exposed the illegal spying on the president and who've been proven right over and over again. He knows how smart Napolitano is, not just on the law, but wide-ranging. I mean, I've had dinner with him many times. I know you're best friends with him. He's super smart about everything.
Well, he called that exactly right, the fact that the British were conducting surveillance on Trump so as to keep the hands clean of John Brennan and the deep state. He was widely derided for that at the time he said it. Of course, it's now been proven to be absolutely correct.
Well, get back to your studio, and let's get you on Skype to cover the incredible hearings. You got brought up a bunch. I know right off the top of my head 4 or 5 lies that Rosenstein told to Congress just in the testimony I've seen. It's pretty incredible. But you've got Trump and all these candidates he backed winning, validating him. You've got all these great things happening now with the Supreme Court. You've got the Supreme Court ruling on Trump's side this week. I mean, this has got to be horrifying the authoritarian left right now. They're just apoplectic.
Well, and it's time for the president to fire Rosenstein. He has cause as never before.
Well, Gowdy even got off the fence and said, look, you're wrecking this country. This investigation's killing this country. Trump's not against the country. There's no evidence. If you don't have evidence to indict his ass with a grand jury right now, then I say shut it down. I mean, that's got to really get to him.
All right. Well, I look forward to joining you by Skype shortly.
There goes Roger Stone. Thank you very, very much, Roger. So there you got the exclusive that was never in the news. That it was in the news that he was in the running, but specifically, Trump Tower, you are going to be my next nominee. Boom. So we'll see what happens with that, because things can change, but the president almost always does what he says he's going to do. I give him about a 95% accuracy rate. Hillary about a 5%. So there you go. Very exciting. Again, just because people are awake now, they're involved, they're focused. Okay, we got a ton of news, so much. I can't even get to it right now. We're going to just, it's all coming up next hour. Totally insane amounts of just unbelievably critical information. Hotep Jesus, really great, smart guy, is going to be popping in on the broadcast. Lionel is going to be getting in. He's a former prosecutor. He'll have a lot too. Please, whatever you do, spread the live video links. Tell folks about the local radio station you're listening to. Spread the articles, the videos. That's how we're going to win, because they are really censoring the web ahead of 2018 like never before. They think that's going to have them win. But people power can overpower them. We also need financial funding. We'll make it easy with great products. Our super blue, super high quality, colloidal silver, iodine-based, fluoride-free toothpaste is available 50% off right now at InfoWarsStore.com. 33% off Knockout Sleep Aid, it's $100 off on the air purification systems. It's all there, and it makes it all possible.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
You're a white male! You're a white man!
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Support good oral health with our one-of-a-kind Super Blue fluoride-free products. InfoWars Life brings you a revolutionary toothpaste blend with iodine and nano silver designed to deliver a powerful clean. Enjoy a minty fresh flavor made with peppermint oil, or try our bubblegum flavor. Pair this groundbreaking toothpaste with the Super Blue fluoride-free mouthwash and supercharge your oral health. Our amazing mouthwash features natural oils and ancient ingredients used since Aboriginal and biblical times. Instead of containing fluoride, our Super Blue line is loaded with the good halogen iodine and an array of other beneficial compounds that have been hand-selected for their oral health benefits. Super Blue fluoride-free mouthwash and toothpaste are the first and only to contain all of these natural ingredients: xylitol, nano silver, and iodine. Notice the difference with our Super Blue fluoride-free products. Refresh your breath and invigorate your oral health routine at InfoWarsStore.com. That's InfoWarsStore.com.